And ladies and gentlemen, we're getting started right here, right now. It's go time for the quarterfinal number 4 of FullSpeed Masters Season 2, as we're getting along with INS at the moment, along with the turnover into this little half tube there. Will be bad, taking the lead of the race with Moose, 2-2 and Asigoka, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Wiliknas down to 6th position at the moment as we get over the platform transition over there. A little jump, then dropping back down, moving onto the tube right now with Asigoka, this time springing clearly away ahead of his teammate Moose. INS also trying to make way ahead of 2-2 to move up into 3rd place. That's the 3rd Shift player up into the podium spot. 1, 2, 3, pretty nicely rounded here for Team Shift as we're going to be moving along with 2-2. We see Wiliknas and Bad going a little bit swayward, and it's going to be a very, very big crash for 2-2 right there. Wiliknas just behind Bad, who's looking a little bit slow right there on this 90-degree wall section, and yeah, both of them are going to be trying to tend this together, but in the meantime, it is going to be Team Shift pretty much romping away with this one with a very clear lead of 2.5 tenths right there as we're moving onto the finish line. The jump over the finish line with Asigoka taking the lead and the win with a .633 at the line. Moose with a .691 at a .857, and straight away we start off with an AA ace. 1-0 for Team Shift. For context, the record currently sitting on trackmania.io is a 1:00.890. We're driving around 8 tenths away from current WW pace, quote unquote, according to TMIO, but this is just the opening round of the map, so we just have to wait and see if the pace is going to be picked up at some point in this particular match, or maybe in the other match. So far it's 2-2 who's going to be having a lot of ground to make up. He's completely out of it, actually. And if we follow along with Wiliknas, he's going to be battling tooth and nail with Moose and moving ahead of the Englishman for the lead of the race. Asigoka in 3rd. And actually, we've had plenty of casualties. We're already down to 2 players from Team Shift, and now down to 1 player for Team Shift, and even maybe no players from Team Shift. No, there is still one in the form of Moose, but there is plenty of carnage now. As, yeah, we're down to a 1-on-2, even maybe a 1-on-3. It's a 1-on-2, actually, with Wiliknas, but it's 2-2 then who has retired, but the superiority number will go the way of Exile Red with a .610 being secured by Wiliknas to get the victory. 3rd place secured by Bad, a 1-on-2. It was not going to go that well for Team Shift, and thus we equilibrize the scoreboard. Equilibrize, well, that's a new word. That's definitely not a new word. 1-1 as we go into round 3. And thank you, Jeff, for the follow. Very much appreciated. Okay, moving on to the follow perspective now. That should be a little bit easier to follow through the tubes and turnovers. Equilibrize, yep. I'm just making up new words on the spot. That's my ability. Moose this time getting a really, really solid start. Bad is at the tail end of the field, although we do have a casualty on the side of Shift. It seems as though we have lost someone indeed, and it is going to be INS who's going to be retired and out of the running. Moose, a little bit of airtime there. He's not going to have enough speed, and he's going to be crashing straight onto the side of the block, and that's pretty much going to be a retirement. Retirement as well for 2-2. Asigoka is the only man left in the field, and there is plenty of carnage. It's a lot of carnage. It's all chaos. All 3 of the Exile Red team members are down and out of the race, thus Asigoka and Moose, and even Asigoka all on his own right now as Moose has retired. He's left alone with himself and his destiny to take the win for Team Shift with a .657. Great round, guys. Great round. Great round, boys. Great round. With that little gift out of the way there for Team Exile Red, it's on to the next round. It already 2-2 having made a very, very big blunder with that significant airtime. He's going to be out of the running very, very harshly there. So we're down to a 2-on-3 essentially for Team Exile Red with Wiliknas right in the middle of the field along with Bad, but Moose has decided to spring away into the distance and put a little bit of a cushion between himself and the battle for 2nd position. He has a 1.5 tenth buffer over Bad and Wiliknas who are tending this together, but also have Asigoka in the middle of that particular squabble for 2nd place, moving up to 3rd at the expense of Wiliknas, and now the gaps are starting to stretch really, really wide in between the cars as Asigoka is trying to mount a bit of an attack now on potentially Bad. Bad moving on to second place still, but looking a little bit slow here through that magnet wall ride, and he's gonna get overtaken and literally swallowed alive by Asagoka. In the meantime, Moose continuing to completely check everyone out up front. 3/10 clear almost into the splits as we head into the finish line now. It's a 1-2 that's enough to guarantee the point for Team Shift, with a .436 being driven by Moose, a pretty respectable time in and of itself. Asagoka in second place, guaranteeing the 11 points haul out of the 13 that were collected over the course of this round. Or even 14 points that were collected over the course of this round there for Team Shift. 3-1. As we're moving on to round number 5 then. Inyas and Moose. The tandem springing ahead of both Bad and Williknas, following along with Asagoka in P5 at the moment, and actually moving up to P4 after Williknas was looking a little bit slow through there. Where is Bad at? Bad seems to have retired. Indeed, we're one man down on the side of Exile Red. Bad is out of the particular round. Inyas has springed ahead of his two teammates, Moose and Asagoka, in second and third place. Tudu and Williknas left all alone. Williknas a little bit shaky at the landing just before this turnover, and it's going to be very, very tough to catch up to the Shift boys. Tudu is way too far down to make any kind of impact whatsoever. We've already lost a one man on the side of Shift. That will be Inyas. It's down to a 2-on-2 now, but the 2-on-2 is squarely in favor of Team Shift, with Asagoka and Moose locking up the front row. .508 and .704 for Asagoka and Moose respectively. A 2/10 difference between these two. Williknas third and Tudu in P4. 4-1 for Team Shift, who are almost past the halfway point. Well, they are past the halfway point here on this matchup, and you can see Asagoka and Moose, the top fragger here. Top fraggers for Team Shift, and already someone very, very slow at the start. Tudu has decided to have a little bit of a slowing down moment, deciding to take a breather here, but unfortunately for him, it's not really going to be of any help to his teammates. Especially not to Bad, who's currently at the front of the field, managing to try and mix it up with the big boys, but then Asagoka and Moose at the start of the second sector right there are just working their magic right now and pulling away from Bad, and even from Inyas, their teammate, left to squabble with Bad for third place to make it an ace, and it's going to be Bad making the work a lot easier for Team Shift, even though Williknas is still in it to win it. Watch out for Williknas here, the Swedish player from Team Exile Red, still going toe-to-toe with Inyas and actually overtaking him before the end of the turnover right there. Onto the wall right we go, as we're going to be moving back with Asagoka, and we're already down to just one player. Williknas is all on his own, him versus the world. Actually, Tudu still in the round, but he's pretty much out of impact reach. Inyas has also kind of fallen out of favor. It's Asagoka and Moose still, though, that will take the win for Team Shift. .428 and .484, respectively, for Asagoka and Moose in that order. Williknas will separate Inyas from his teammates to prevent another AA ace, but it's still going to be the point going the way of Team Shift. 5-1. 2 points left to go for this first map to go the way of Team Shift. And Williknas will be the man to actually crack at the start and head on with a collision with the wall. And Bad is also out of the run. He's retired almost instantly. He might have messed up somewhere I didn't actually see. So this is going to be Tudu all alone, and we are done for here in this map, in this round, sorry, for Team Exile Red. Williknas might be trying to make a stand and continue to soldier on in the race, but actually no. All three Exile Red members have retired from the round, so Moose, Asagoka, and Inyas will be bagging a secure 1-2-3 finish. Another AA ace that has been pretty much handed on the silver plate over the space of the first sector alone. As Moose and Asagoka charge away, Inyas decides to take a little bit more steadily here through the last sector. He knows that he does not need to mess this up to make it a really triumphant round for Team Shift, with Moose and Asagoka. .2s being driven up ahead, .256 and .274 being driven by Moose and Asagoka in that order. Inyas in third. Very, very nice times up front. 5-1 for Exile Red. Actually, 6-1 for Team Shift, as I completely swapped the leaderboard. Yeah, safe it. Both do 2.2x. Oh, that was the call. That was the call. Oh, what is that? Oh my god. Okay, that is a full-on strike, ladies and gentlemen, and the strike is going to be the worst for Rare to Team Shift. We're down to just a single player in the person of Asagoka. Bad and Willikness still in there, and Willikness not that far off either, so Bad is continuing to pile on the pressure on Asagoka right there. Exile Red maybe in with a chance to try to salvage something from this with the entire carnage. That was like a bowling alley at the start right there of this round for pretty much everyone involved. Ainas and Moose out of the running, same for Tudu. Willikness and Bad swapping positions, but they both just need to rally the finish without anyone else dropping down. But we've already had a drop down, that being Bad. He has retired, and that said, it will be Asagoka all on his own, and Willikness also crashing out. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be the GG for Team Shift, winning 7-1 on one of the rounds ever, ladies and gentlemen. 0.403 at the end of that round, but that's round time does not really matter. It is going to be a 7-1 lead, and the first 3v3 going into the bag for Team Shift. With this, the prediction can actually be terminated. 79% had voted for Team Shift as the winner for matchup number 1, and you guys are right. So that was pretty much the safe bet out there. And I'm thus preparing the next prediction. I'm cooking the other gamba just as we speak, as we're moving on to our next map, which is going to be, I think, Danger to Manifold in... Oh, what? Yeah, no, that was not that. Arrow Stride is not the right map. Danger to Manifold is being queued, and it will be switched over very, very shortly here. There it goes. Danger to Manifold will be our next map, submatch number 2. The prediction is now live with 15 minutes to go for you to bet your points away again, this time for the winner of the second submatch. Yeah, that was a solid Braziling there by Team Shift. One warm-up round and then live, it seems like. So make sure to do the prediction very, very quickly here. Seems as though we are getting very, very close to start line. They just want to get on with it and continue like piling on the matches. So the prediction might be ending a little bit early. Well, it might end after the match, once the sub-match is ended, if we tend to go a little bit of a quicker sub-match than I anticipate. But either way, getting started here on the map from Titato and Linz there for this particular sub-match. This is a map that we're also going to see in the second semi-final, most likely. Well, yeah, I tend to leave a little bit of time on the predictions, but I figured, yeah, maybe I'll just cut it up a little bit early. So, Flash Tube is in the placing of Moose, and Keyboard replaces Bad on the side of Exile Red. So, a few changes across the board on either lineups, and we're already underway, and we already have a little bit of a casualty. Keyboard, unfortunately, will be fine. Oh, yeah, Keyboard is not that far off, but he will be the first man to crash as soon as I switch to him on the camera. Willikness and Tudu thus left all on their own to battle it out for Team... Oh, Flash Tube, that is a huge wreck for the newest entrant into the ring for Team Shift. Ainas going very, very close to the inside wall. Asagoka and Ainas thus still remaining 1-2 in this 2v2 fight. 0.370 being driven by Asagoka, just ahead of Flash Tube, and it was a warm-up round indeed. I pulled a fast point, ladies and gentlemen. I pulled a fast point. I mean, it was bound to happen at some point, but yeah, there it is. I guess it's warm up for both the players and myself. Let's put it that way. Danger to Manifold, fastest time is a 51.116, courtesy of Switch that was driven 14 days ago. And yeah, already clocking in a 0.3 right on the outset on the warm-up round is not too shabby, but that might be a little bit of bad juju for Asagoka, as you may know. It's always bad juju to finish a warm-up round and clock in a very decent time. Anyway, we're gonna have to wait and see as we're getting started for realsies this time on our second sub-match, opposing Shift versus Team Exile Red. Flash Tube in for a Moose on the side of Team Shift, and Asagoka and Ainas, and on the side of Exile Red, Willikness and Tudu are accompanied by Keyboard instead of Bad. And already we find Keyboard a little bit on the back foot as, yeah, he's finds himself at the bottom end of the field in P6, and Flash Tube looking very, very slow right there. So that's going to be one of the key Shift members out of the running for this particular round. Watch out for Ainas and Asagoka. They must not slip up now. And actually, we already have one casualty on the side of Exile. That must be Willikness indeed. Tudu and Willikness are ahead. Keyboard actually is completely out of this particular round. Willikness and Tudu swapping positions for third and fourth. Ainas and Asegolka, first and second, are just going to be romping away to victory with a .454 on the side of Ainas. And FlashTube will be reaching the finish line despite that very, very big slowdown we've seen. P5 for FlashTube, and it will be the first blood once again for Team Shift, 1-0. Start of the second round then. Tudu in the meantime looking to be mixing it up with the guys up front. FlashTube taking an early lead. Let's try to follow along with the... Oh, that was a big crash from FlashTube. That is a big F. F for FlashTube in the chat. That was a big death that I've seen. Now, let's try to go in the perspective of Asegolka chasing down the leader at Tudu, who's going to be still really neck and neck, but Asegolka with a bit of extra speed at the exit of this particular turnover before the twisted road will be moving on to the lead of the race, but it's no use as Ainas is completely out of the running as well. He's in P5, he's so far down. Look at this. This will be the first point for Team Exile Red in second, third, and fourth. A .666, a devilish time being driven by Asegolka, but no one else is there to back him up. Tudu, Williknas, and Keyboard, second, third, and fourth will guarantee the point going the way of Team Exile Red, 1-1. Start of round 3 then. Ainas and Asegolka, the tandem trying to break away for freedom up ahead. And FlashTube having a bit of trouble at the back. Down the P6, looking a little bit sluggish compared to the rest of the field. Oh, Tudu, that was a little bit shaky. Watch out. Oh, everybody just sliding left and right. But look at FlashTube's entry, moving from 6th to 3rd in the space of a few blocks right there as we're moving on to the rest of the round. Oh, FlashTube clipping, managing to save it, continues on. That is a very, very big squeaky bum time, and we already have a casualty on the side of Team Exile Red as Tudu has retired, so we're down to a 3-on-2 with Asegolka sure enough to get the win. .720, Williknas second, Keyboard third, Ainas in P4, and FlashTube in P5. 145 is more than enough to get the point for Team Shift, especially following the retirement of Tudu. So Shift retake the lead, 2-1. Following Asegolka at the moment. Heading into the tube, then onto the downward wall ride. Going neck and neck with FlashTube and Asegolka. FlashTube trying to regain a little bit of form right there after a few complicated rounds, moving on to the lead of the race. Following Tudu, trying to initiate SDs left, right, and center. Battling for fourth alongside Ainas, FlashTube and Asegolka and Keyboard 1, 2, and 3. Trying to follow the perspective of Keyboard if I can find him. There he is. But Keyboard is getting reeled in and swallowed alive by Ainas just before that turnover section. Oh, and he's gonna have airtime. Straight into the wall he goes. He is completely dead. Williknas in the meantime reeling Ainas in and thus preventing the ace from happening by 9,000ths of a second. Great job by Williknas. But ultimately, it does not prevent the point going the way of Team Shift with that 1-2-4 finish. 3-1 for the current match leaders. Oh, that is a very, very costly and uncharacteristic mistake there performed by Williknas right from the start of the round right there. As we follow along with his teammate Tudu. Going toe-to-toe with Ainas for the lead, taking the lead at the end of the split. You can see we still have some very, very feisty Shift members, and Keyboard is at the bottom end of this particular group. We can see FlashTube trying to initiate SDs all over the road, and yes, taking away the lead from Tudu, who goes off the side of the track. We're down to a single player on the side of Exile Red, that being Keyboard. Sitting in third place and already a retirement on the side of Shift, that being the retirement from, it was FlashTube, and that is another big crash right in the exact same section as in the previous round. Ainas and Asegolka, the only two men left to take to the checkered flag. .558 and .788, guaranteeing the point for Team Shift once again, 4-1. Start of round number 6 here. Following along with 2-2 this time at the back end of the group. Just before the end of the split right there. FlashTube will be leading just ahead of Ainyas 2-2 and Keyboard Asagoka a little bit further behind in P5, following along with him. And we have a huge pinball machine moment for Ainyas. It was like, yeah, it was indeed Ainyas who's decided to retire. And more Shift players completely fall out of the track, out of the blue. FlashTube is the only man left to make a stand individually for Team Shift. And yeah, Keyboard, Willignas, and 2-2 just survived. That is going to be another point going the way of Team Exile Red on the count of attrition right there. Willignas taking away the second place from 2-2. Point 286 though, courtesy of FlashTube. That is an astonishing time being driven by the man from Team Shift, diving into the point twos here in this match. 4-2 though for Team Exile. FlashTube looking to be going berserk, but no one to back him up, sadly, as there was plenty of carnage being wreaked. FlashTube following along with him for now on this tube. Just in front of him is Ainyas. He's going toe-to-toe with Willignas for the second place, and FlashTube will be edging ahead with a very, very tidy line just before the turnover section, and now trying to initiate SDs left, right, and center. Look at FlashTube taking a little bit of airtime. The car going a little bit light over the hill, as you can see, but he gained a little bit more speed compared to his teammate Ainyas, thus moving into the lead of the race. In the meantime, it seems as though we have lost Asagoka. No, Asagoka is still right there. He's still in P6, but you can see the trio of Exile Red right there is in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with Willignas looking to make a little bit of an impression maybe on Ainyas. Yeah, Ainyas is looking a little bit slow. Willignas is moving up into 2nd position. Can Ainyas move up to 3rd place? Yes, he manages to retain 3rd place. Great race and great ending though from Willignas to move up into 2nd position. But a 1-3-6 is enough for the point for Team Shift, I think. Yes, it is. 5-2. That was a great round though, I'm not gonna lie. That's a bit insensitive, isn't it? Well, I say insensitive. That's a bit rude, right? Josh, you know better. Ainyas taking the lead in the 1st sector. FlashTube and Asagoka 2nd and 3rd. So far, so good for the Shift outfit. Willignas and Keyboard, the only man left. It seems like 2-2 has had a little bit of a trouble of his own, as we're just going to be... Oh, that is a huge F! Huge F for Willignas. It briefly flashed on my screen on the side of my eye. But that is a huge F, and a huge F as well for Ainyas. It seems like, yep. We're down to 3 players with just Asagoka, FlashTube, and 2-2 left on the track. It's a 2v1 in favor of Team Shift. FlashTube overtaking his teammate for the lead of the race and the win. 0.630 versus 0.676. And that is going to be the sub-match point and potential match point there for Team Shift. 6-2, one more round, and they are officially, mathematically, the winners of this quarterfinal. Following along with Willignas with the start. Keyboard having a bit of a slower start, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. Moving on to the onboard perspective through that turnover section. Acid FlashTube Ainyas 1, 2, 3. Just before the end of the split, Willignas looking to try his best. We've also got 2-2 trying to go a little bit quicker, trying to regain a little bit of form. Onto this transition right there, trying to initiate SDs left, right, and center. He manages to get a little bit more feed than FlashTube, actually, continuing to retain the lead. This is great work right there from 2-2 as FlashTube and Ainyas, 2nd and 3rd. 4th for Willignas, 5th for Asagoka, and 6th for Keyboard, but Keyboard is completely out of the running. He's way too far down to have any kind of impact, but we already have a bit of a mistake from one of the guys from Team Shift. That is going to be Ainyas out of the running. FlashTube overtaking Willignas for the lead. Asagoka overtaking 2-2 for 3rd place, but it's not enough to get the point. It will be a draw. Where is Ainyas? Ainyas has retired. Ainyas has indeed retired, as I feared, so we have to go for one more round at least here on Danger to Manifold as we go into the double-digit round count at the top, and we already have a mistake from one of the guys, 2-2. Just like Willignas did, maybe in a bit of a different fashion compared to Willignas, but at the same start block, has completely sealed the fate of his team, I fear. As Willignas and Keyboard are going to have a tall order to climb, as yeah, Team Shift are seemingly having this round under lock and key so far. Let's go on the perspective of Asagoka if I can find him. There he is. right at the tail end of the Shift group. FlashTube looking like he's on a really, really good time. We're gonna have to see what the timer actually says at the end of the round. FlashTube, Inyas 1-2, actually 1-3, make that as we have Asagoka moving up to second place at the expense of Inyas. Oh, FlashTube looking a little bit slow. Asagoka with a humongous end, moving up into the lead. Thus, it will be a 0.5. That could have been a very easily a 0.4 or even a 0.3 being driven by FlashTube there, but that was a GG with another AA ace in the bag for Team Shift, 7-2. And that means it is going to be the end of that sub-match, and already the match is going to be going the way of Team Shift. 95% of you have voted for Team Shift in the minutes that have been going on this sub-match. We kind of cut it close there in terms of the predictions, but yeah, Team Shift are definitely your winner. And I wonder if we're going to be following the third and final sub-match. Now, as a reminder, in the rulebook, it is stipulated that both teams have to agree on not playing the third sub-match in order to skip it. If one of the two teams wants to play it, then the match has to go forward with the final map, which is going to be Reflections, and that is the case. Now, I wonder if we're going to be... I'm pretty sure that maybe we're going to see this third sub-match being played, even though the match is kind of wrapped up already. Yeah, players are seemingly rolling on the ground as my connection has having a bit of a heart attack. Sorry about that, guys, but yeah, we're back. We are back. Okay, the question is being asked. Okay, so the question has been popped and already an answer. So yeah, it seems like we are going to be moving on to the third sub-match after all, and this time I'm going to be adjusting the prediction timer, I promise. I'm going to make the Gamba happen. And yeah, so sub-match number 3, and instead of 15 minutes, let's move it on to 5 minutes. So, you have a third of the time to put down your predictions for this third sub-match, even though it's more for shots and goggles than anything else. 3, 2, 1, go! Predict the winner of sub-match number 3 between Shift and Exile Red. 1 for Team Shift, 2 for Exile Red, using the channel points, of course, the credits that you will have probably accumulated if you watched a few of the casts around here. Maybe you don't have any points if you're new, and if you're new, first of all, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy your stay here, and that you will enjoy competition casts. And if you want to hear more of this, then hit the follow button and hit the bell. Of course, next week I'll try to cover the best of my ability, the FullSpeed Masters playoffs, and then there might be another competition cast, although in a different language, coming up in a very, very not too distant future, as there might be some hints as to what it might be on social media. Currently, main social media for me is Twitter at GGeek, and yeah, I'm also trying to export myself on some of the other alternative platforms out there, although it's always difficult to keep up with the new fangled thing in social media and whatnot. I'm slowly becoming a boomer, I'm just realizing. Give me something that works and that lets me actually keep a large reach, and that's it. And I'm set. Well, that one might be for shits and giggles, but we are going back at it for the third and final sub-match of this quarterfinal here for Shift versus Exile Red. Shift having already won, they move on to the semi-final, but we're playing one last sub-match here on Reflections by Entrylag and Westcomb, and the lineups have quite dramatically changed. Tudu is moved to the bench on the profit of Bad on the side of Exile Red, and on the side of Team Shift, we have Asagoka and Inyas moving to the bench, whereas Dave and Moose step in to go alongside FlashTube. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck, have fun, may the best team win. We're underway right here, right now, for the third and final sub-match. Keyboard getting a whole shot with a .218 and a very, very heavy crash already. We have one player from Team Shift that has already retired, that being FlashTube. It seems like, yes, the Swiss driver is completely out of the splits. So far, it is a very, very solid start for Team Exile Red, as we're going to be following along with Moose, the first of the Shift members to actually chase down Exile Red members. Moving on to the wall ride, getting ahead of Bad for third position. Dave in P5 a little bit further behind compared to what he expects it to be. But look at the speed from Moose right there, continuing to battle it out with Williknas for second position. In the meantime, Keyboard is completely gone up front. 3/10 clear ahead of this a little squabble for second place as we move on to the last embers of the map with that little wall ride right there, and then the jump into the finish line, and that's going to be the wild win for Keyboda with a 57.092 being driven by the Ukrainian driver from Team Exile Red. Moose and Dave second and third though, and yeah, that's going to be gifting the point for Team Shift. I didn't exactly follow that, but yeah, no one from Exile Red was able to follow up. Vileknas and Bad both had to retire because of a very, very heavy crash a bit further behind on camera. And so, it is still going to be Shift leading away as, yeah, I'm just taking a little bit of a look at the times. 55.71, it is the current record being held by Switch as of last week. And currently Moose getting a really, really solid start, and already 2 casualties in the field. We have FlashTube and Keyboda out of this round, having retired. Ooh, that is way too far out. Let's try to follow the perspective of Willik now, shall we? But he's getting left behind slowly but surely by both Moose and Dave. The Czech driver continuing to try and follow his Brit teammates. Very, very low entry right there for Willik Nas, keeping the car in check as it slowly defines an arc trajectory on the wall ride. Final roll ride before the jump into the finish line. It's going to be an A-ace. I guess we could say that if it were 2v2. 0.26 for Moose, ahead of Dave by 0.2 of a second. Williknas down to third, Bad down to fourth. 2-0 for Team Shift. 7-2 for Team... 7-2 for Team Shift, I think, Babu. You can rewatch the VOD if you want to get the proper score. I'm just kind of talking it out of my head at this point. Ooh, Williknas. That is a very, very unfortunate little sign tap with the left rear that is going to be leading him into retirement. And thus, we're down to a 2-on-3 for Team Exile Red, and down to a 1-on-3 even, as we had a retirement from Keyboda as well. So it will be Bad versus the world at this point. Moose, FlashTube, and Dave. 1, 2, 3. The whole gang is here. And they're looking to continue to press on their advantage. Although Moose is getting left a little bit behind, getting detached from the group, and thus falling back into the clutches of Bad, who moves ahead of him for third position right now. But FlashTube and Dave are looking very, very poised right now to make a pretty solid impression. And Bad is going to be crashing out very heavily, as I had a little bit of teleportation and connection lag moments. Dave and FlashTube hand in hand going into the finish line with an AAAs this time. All 3 players finishing the line with a 57.364 for FlashTube, with a 0.388 for Dave, and Moose finishing with a 0.651. These are the only 3 drivers to have made it to the finish line, so it is an easy 3-0. Following the perspective of Bad, the unfortunate player who crashed out in the very late stage of the round, just at the start of the third sector, and that was just bada bang, bada boom. Went a bit too low and went full on with the nose of the car at the edge of the block, so it will be game over, as we're currently seeing that Keyboard is going all over the shot, keeping the speed up with Moose and FlashTube, but we also see Bad with a very, very big section at the end of the first sector anyway, as he moves up to third place at the head of his teammate, Keyboard. But right now, they do not have really any answer against Moose and FlashTube, trusting the first 2 positions, as even Dave is trying to make a resurgence right here, as both Keyboda and Williknas are left to bite the dust of the Czech driver from Team Shift, as I'm trying to find a little bit of a moment there. Bad has retired, and it seems as though we also had a bit of a retirement moment for Keyboda, so we're down to a 3-on-1 for Team Shift. 56.644 being driven by Moose, finishing 4/10 clear of his teammate FlashTube. Dave in third place, Williknas in P4. That is a nice time being driven by Moose, just for context. In the middle of the rounds, 4-0, halfway point. Williknas getting a pretty solid first sector so far, along with his teammates Keyboard and Bad. We'll see Flash. Oh, that was a huge crash from Keyboard right there. You saw it clear as day with the Ghost, and that is going to be 1 key player out for Team Exile Red. Williknas also a little bit on the backslide, sitting down in P4 as he got overtaken by both FlashTube and Moose. Bad has taken over the lead of the proceedings, but for how long will he be able to retain said lead? Let's try to follow along with FlashTube, shall we? As we also see that Dave has retired and FlashTube has overtaken Bad for the lead of the race. Flash Tube leading quite comfortably, although we do see the retirement of Dave, the end of Willignas as well, so Bad is not doing that bad, all things considered. 57.165, but Flash Tube was faster, and we are down to just a one-on-one with a big XD moment as both Dave and Moose retired, it seems like. Yep, that was just down to a one-on-one between Exile Red and Shift came out on top on this time. That one was a bit unintended though, Acta Fabula. I'm gonna admit. Ooh, Flash Tube, that is a very, very slow start. And Moose also having had a huge moment. So he will be out trying to make it through the other side of the wall, right? I mean, kudos for the commitment, but yeah, he's just going to be adding insult to injury there. As, yeah, Exile Red are just going to be on the verge of scoring their first point in this particular sub-match. Flash Tube is way too far down. He's 6/10 down, an eternity in full speed. Bad leading quite comfortably. Willignas, though, will be hitting the wall quite dramatically, or rather the neon sign, and retiring almost instantly, knowing that it's not really recoverable. Moose is way too far down the order. Bad, Dave, Keyboard, and Flash Tube. 1, 2, 3, 4, but we still have actually Moose in the running, although he's way far down. Yeah, Moose is still really on the track. Watch out for Dave versus Bad. That could be the swing and a miss for Team Exile Red. Dave, Bad, Keyboard, and Flash Tube. Where is Moose? Moose is there. 10 seconds left to go. That might be too far behind. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch out. Oh my god, he makes it right on the gong as well. 6-0. No points being given away. Not even a draw. Not even a draw being given for Exile Red. Not any sense of respite. And yeah, a huge snipe from Dave as well for the lead. But that was a close cut there for Moose after a very, very unpromising start for the previous round. Managing to reach the finish line when he needed most, but unfortunately we have a bit of a retirement for, I think it was Flash Tube. Flash Tube is completely out of this one. 2 down to 3, and we're down to a 2-on-2 actually with the retirement from Bad. Dave springing into the lead ahead of Keyboard, Moose in third, and this time it's Willignas who's going to be way far down in P4. Let's try to follow along with Moose to give us a little bit of a perspective of how things are going on up ahead. Dave quite comfortably ahead of Keyboard by about 0.2 of a second, a quarter of a second almost here before this turnover section. And Moose just going to be securing that third place, and it is going to be the GG with the 7-0. Oh, and actually even worse with the crash from Keyboard right at the finish. GG 7-0 for Team Shift here in this sub-match, and it is a clean 3-0. 7-1, 7-2, 7-0. The scores of the sub-match precisely as, yeah, Team Shift predictably take the spot in the semi-final